Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I'm at Del Mar at this $250,000 greenhouse over here. Luckily, it doesn't look like there's too much wind damage after the storm. The power is back on. They had a generator running that was dead silent in here, but you know, that bearing on that fan needs to be fixed before it blows up and does some real damage, but you know, we can't get anything over here reported and so forth. And I don't know who's in charge of this greenhouse. I really do. I'm just not going to say. And here are our plants here. That's the only thing that was growing in here. You can see that all this research money and everything that has been procured at taxpayers' expense is sitting here, you know, just cooking in the sun. Anyway, there you go. There's your tax money, folks. Take care. Okay, I'm back trying to hold this thing steady. Can you see that handrail buried in that bush over there? That's how much these groundkeepers care about the handicapped and so forth around here. You know, a lot of people do need that rail, folks, and I think that's just awful. We can't get people to pay attention around here. Just showing you where your tax money's going. Be back in a minute. Okay, apparently some brilliant soul decided to take down all this nice Esperanza bushes and stuff that were over there. They just cleaved it off to the ground. You know, I just wonder about why we're spending $15,000, $16,000 a month on groundskeeping, and they can't do any better than that. And then we can't water anything. They took out the last of the palm trees that fell down here for lack of water. And then you've got the ginger root plants over here that have been sitting there without water for months and months. There is a water line over there. And we can't afford to water this stuff, but we can afford to, you know, go out and spend $159 million for this and $139 million for something else, and we can't even afford to take care of what we've got. So anyway, taxpayers, just thought I'd give you a little taste of what's going on over here at Del Mar College East. This is a Garcia Science Building. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, lights are on and the recorder's going here on the video camera. I'll be right back around the front. As you know, this is a one-man show. And I just do this all myself. It saves a whole bunch of bother and so forth and so on, aggravation with other people. So, welcome to another edition of South Texas News and Reviews. Today is September the 4th. It's Labor Day. And I know that I started filming this over at Del Mar a while back, but I'm just going to finish it up. And just want to direct your attention to these beautiful roses up here, dedicated to Miss Lynn, my mom, and April 23. And they know who they are, and so forth and so on. Anyway, so I'm back after several days. We had Harvey in between and so forth, and my heart really does go out to all those fine folks who have been damaged and inconvenienced with that. Mother Nature can be real cruel at times, but I hope that all of you and yours survived that without too much pain, agony, and trauma. You know, I know we didn't get the worst of the hurricane, and I guess I'm thankful personally for that, but I do hate to see people up the coast from us, particularly Houston. I've got relatives up there and relatives in South Louisiana, so it's very painful for me to see what they have to go through. But that's part of life, I guess. I've learned to live through a couple of those things. All right, now, I started with pictures of a poster over at Del Mar College. It was posted up there to celebrate some students that won an award at one of these, quote, research, what they call them, poster sessions and so forth and so on. But I'm a little bit disturbed with several things that go on over there at Del Mar College. And before I get into that, let me just quickly tell you, this show airs Sunday at 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. and then Wednesday at 8 to 9 p.m. and then what's going on in Corpus Christi, which is my 30-minute predominantly Taxpayers Association show. I am the president. What's going on in Corpus Christi, that's Monday from 9 until 9:30 p.m. and then Wednesday from 10 to 10:30 p.m. And then we've got the Voice of Ed Bennett, which is Sunday at 8:30 p.m. and Wednesday at 5 to 5:30. And sometimes I'm a guest with Mr. Bennett, and he is a very good friend of mine, by the way, for those of you who are interested. Now, so let me get back to the pictures of the posters. Now, I've had some problems over there with individuals writing fairly derogatory. I think they're slanderous, and therefore when they're written libelous statements about traditional professors. We have a group of what they consider themselves to be as elite research people over there. They've got grants. I've had them before at Del Mar. It wasn't near the hoopla that we try to kick up for these things. I didn't get release time and all these special privileges that are afforded to those over there that get these grants of various types. And they are predominantly taxpayer funded. Okay, I want you to bear in mind with that. Okay. Now, one of the posters and one of the three of these students over there, and you know, they've been there forever, but the students take aim at antibiotic resistance is the name of this. So there was a research project that went on, and I'm going to talk about this to let you know and to let the world know about my angst with a lot of these what I consider to be slanderous remarks made against those of us who are not out there hustling grants like that. And we teach a traditional class, so at least when my kids get through with you know, with my biology classes and stuff, they know the basics and not just all this hoopla. Okay, now they claim that they have a trademarked product. Okay, so I got to looking around at that thing, and after they had taken this thing to, I think it was Utah, and they won another prize for this award-winning stuff, they call it, then the poster cropped up and said that this product that these students had developed was trademarked. Okay, so that piqued my curiosity. So I'm just going to go through Caller Times here. This was on Tuesday, May the 16th. It says students take aim at antibiotic resistance, and they went and won some awards. But in this article, this was Corpus Christi Caller Times, like I say again on May the 16th, it shows the students there holding up stuff with their lab jackets wide open. Okay, that's real smart. But anyway, I'm not going to get off into the finer arts of this thing. It says their product, Enterosword, landed the group in the finals for the National Science Foundation Community Colleges Innovation Challenge. Okay? And they were going to travel to Arlington, Virginia in June for a 3-day innovation boot camp before presenting their idea. Okay? Now this is touted to be a product, their product, okay? So I would assume that they do have a product, okay? Not just a theory about things. The theory is not research. You go out and you take your information and what you think you want to do, and then you go and research that problem and see if it works out. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. I spent many a year in the research business, folks. Not only government, but industrial. And then at Del Mar College, when I had a grant from Herc Celanese, and I had students participate in a project there. Now, so their product, there it is mentioned. And then there's another article that was in the Caller Times. This one came out in the Corpus Christi Business News, and this was in July of 2017. What did I say this one was? This was in May. Okay, so this is a follow-up. Del Mar College students developed a life-saving spray. Antibacterial spray wins first place in national competition. And they won $1,500 each for their product, Enterosword, E-N-T-E-R-O-S-W-O-R-D. Okay, beat out 9 finalists for a prize. Now, so they show these students in there, and you know, my hat's off to them, folks. You know, they work hard, but I think they're being a little bit misled. And then we have these expensive color pamphlets everywhere trying to entice people to go into biotechnology. Del Mar College's biotechnology program provides community college students with the opportunity to conduct undergraduate research and to learn cutting-edge technology in the industry. Okay? And it's DMC. Biotechnology students have discovered more than 1,000 previously unknown viruses called bacteriophages. Okay? All right? Now, then we've got Research Day advertised here. The student presents projects to attendees at Harbin Center. And that's been some time ago, and those circulars are still all over campus. Then that group went up to Salt Lake City, Utah in July, and they presented some stuff to the, the High Impact Technology Exchange Conference, okay? And there were some shenanigans going on there about whether students were enrolled at the time that they went up there or not. And you know, I'm investigating that. I'll be put everybody at Del Mar on notice, and everybody else around the country, that I'm doing that. Okay. So apparently there was an award that they won up there. Okay. Now, I asked on July 17th the following of Dr. Mark Escamilla, President, Del Mar College, in the address. Dr. Escamilla, through my rights under the Texas Public Information Act, Texas Government Code 552, okay, I am hereby requesting copies of any and all contracts, agreements, or U.S. patent applications between Del Mar College and any other organization, and in parentheses, business, related to the numerous publications that Del Mar College students and faculty members have developed a life-saving, and quote, spray Interosoord. I would like to set a time and place at which I can review all of the research notes and documentation related to the development of the professed new product Interosoord by students, faculty members, and staff of Del Mar College over the past 5 years. I am also requesting a time for all documents pertaining to any and all taxpayer-supported grants related to the research conducted by Del Mar students and faculty members involved in the development of said Interosoord. And I signed that, and this was date stamped in on July the 17th of 2017. Okay? Now, what I got back, and this is from Mrs. Tammy McDonald, Executive Director, Human Resources and Administration, and the College Public Information Act Officer. Okay? That means the requests go to her. I sent them to the president because he is the official keeper of the records. Okay. Now it says, Mr. Sansing, thank you for your Texas Public Information request that was received by the college on July 17th. The college has reviewed your Public Information Act request for information relating to a, quote, life-saving spray Interosoord, and has determined that there are no documents responsive to your request. Interosoord was a theoretical concept submitted by students in a competition and is not a real product. It says here that they've developed a product. Okay? Develop and a concept, theoretical concept, folks, are two different items. Okay? And this was signed by her on July the 31st. So, you know, from the 17th to the 31st, they've had plenty of time to look up and give me the research notes and stuff that I wanted to see and verify things. Okay? Now, then that poster went up right outside the lab where these people are working. So on the 22nd of August of 2017, I wrote the following. I am very confused. This was to Dr. Escamilla. On July 17th, 2017, I filed a Public Information Act request for information concerning the numerous published articles concerning the life-saving spray called Interosoord developed at Del Mar College through research grants. Copy attached. Okay? Now, I received a response from Mrs. Tammy McDonald, and in parentheses, College PIA officer, dated July 31st. Copy attached, stating that there are no documents responsive to your request. I am astounded that there are no research notes, data books, written grant proposal, grant reports, patent application, trademark applications, or copyright applications associated with the numerous local and national articles published about the development of the life-saving spray Interosoord. I have attached a photograph of a poster hanging just outside of room 106 of the Garcia Science Building, Del Mar College East Campus, which states that Interosoord is a trademarked product. The poster states that it was developed by Del Mar College students and faculty members, thus my confusion. I have been a research biochemist / microbiologist since August of 1968. Okay? I've always kept meticulous notes of my research results. I have published scientific articles and refereed scientific journals which required valid written research protocols and results. I have developed a product that I obtained a copyrighted trademark on. So I know that business, folks. That was my private development. So my question is, why is Del Mar College advertising in public there that the life-saving spray Enrosword is trademarked? Okay. Therefore, through my rights under the Texas Public Information Act and so forth and so on, I am resubmitting the July 17, 2017 request for specific information, copy attached, along with a request for copy of the trademark application submitted and granting by the Trademark Office. I am also requesting for the complete travel expense reports for all Del Mar College persons, faculty, and students attending the 2017 High Tech Conference, copy attached, in Salt Lake City, Utah, from July 17th to the 20th. I am also attaching a photograph of a poster hanging outside of the door of 110 Garcia Building, Science Building, that makes some very demeaning remarks about us traditional instructors. I am hereby requesting any and all scientific proof that such statements are true and valid. So here's what I did. Now it's probably not going to show, but here's where it says that, and it's got the name of the faculty member on it. I'm not going to say who that is, but it says with Enrosword. Enrosword is in italics, and it's got the TM up there, meaning that it's trademarked. Okay, this was after they won that award. Okay, now just down the hall, there's another thing that says comparing traditional and C-Phage courses. Okay, now the C-Phage courses is this razzmatazz, golly gee whiz stuff going on that they think is so critical. And this is the reason that students can't learn the basics in a class. They're too busy, you know, in there fiddling around with things that they really don't have any comprehension of. Okay. Main difference between traditional and CURE, that's the C-Phage courses, approach is that CURE students experience original research. Okay. Now, they've only been doing this viral research since 1920s in Russia. So that's almost, what, 100 years ago? Okay, so that's real original research. When instructors differ, additional differences include passive versus active learning and canned versus inquiry-based lab exercises. Okay? Folks, if you've got somebody that's going to get a degree in biology, or pre-med students, pre-pharmacy and so forth, I would think that they need to know the canned stuff and learn the basics before they go into this golly gee whiz mess over there. Qualifying the effects of CURE on students. C-CURE student surveys conducted for C-Phage's program. Okay, those are the results. Collected our own data on presentations, awards, and so forth. Okay, well, it's hard to say that if you look at the awards and research results, if the traditional class is not started, you know, it's not taught that way, then it's no big surprise to me, okay, in my past experiences, that yeah, they're going to know a little bit more about the research area, but what do they know about traditional coursework? That's the question. So I know when I send a student from a two-year community college to go to pharmacy school or med school, dental school, vet school, professional schools of any type, biology majors, chemistry majors, and so forth, then those people that receive those students expect them to have had the rigor of a traditional course and that they know the content. And I know that that's not what happens. Okay? Now then, when I read that last one where I resubmitted this on September 1st, okay? Now, this is kind of razzmatazz here. Thank you for your Texas Public Information Act request that was received by the college on August the 10th. Okay? And that's when I resubmitted that. I did that with that letter that I just read to you, Dr. Escamilla. Okay? Actually, that was sent in to him, that re-request, on August 22nd. I don't know where they get this August 10th. I don't have anything that I submitted on August the 10th. Ah, jeez. Okay. Thank you for your request on August the 10th. This response was delayed due to disruption of operations and campus closure days associated with Hurricane Harvey. See, this was sent to me on the 1st. Pursuant to your request, copies of responsive documents and a DVD copy of the August 8th, 2017 Board of Regents meeting are available in my office. I don't know what the delay was with the DVD, but you know, we'll see. Attached, you will find an estimate of charges and so forth and so on, okay, and where they're available. And then they give me a charge. Now there are 93 pages that are available. Okay. Now, it says this response was delayed to disruption of operations and campus closure days associated with Harry. Okay. Now, if I sent this in on the, I think my request was for, let me go back. I want to make sure I've got this. I've got a date stamped August the 22nd. Okay. Now, so here it is in September 1, and they say that my August 10th request, which wasn't, it was earlier than that. Okay. Then, you know, I'm not understanding here where the discrepancy comes in. I guess I'm an idiot. I'm not real sure. Okay. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that the Harvey intertropical storm shortly before 10 p.m. Friday, August the 25th. So if they got it back on the 10th, then I don't think there was a big delay if the hurricane didn't hit until that date. But you know, I can't argue that, but this is just the typical garbage I get back from Public Information Acts, and I'm going to have a real serious talk with the AG, Mr. Paxton, here soon. Now, I am going to pursue, I've already started, okay, the publication of the Association Fraud magazine, okay? In other words, I want to obtain a certificate through this organization as a certified fraud examiner, okay? An association certified fraud. Now, in this one, this was dated September, October 2017, excuse me, and it just so happened when I looked at this magazine, something caught my eye on page 6, and it's a little note, trademark troubles. On a July 10th news release from the Federal Trade Commission announced the newly discovered consumer scam, trademark fraud. See the release they give you the website. Fake companies purporting to be associated with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office are tricking patent and trademark holders to pay for false services. These companies appear to use official-looking mailings and forms to copy the look of the USPTO. The solicitation asks holders to renew their trademark registration, sign up for protection services, or list on a private fake registry. However, those services aren't part of the official U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office advises trademark and patent holders to closely review any solicitation by mail or email to them. Anything mailed will come from Alexandria, Virginia, and so forth. Okay? So what am I to think when it's a theoretical thing all of a sudden and there are no notes, and then next thing I know I've got 97 or 93 pages of stuff. I haven't picked it up. That's going to be tomorrow. This is the 4th. We start classes on the 5th due to a delay for a week by the hurricane. Okay? So I just want to let you know where I am with this and the stuff that I am forced to put up with at times. But I'm not going to put up with it anymore. Okay? So that's the whole InroSword file I've got there. And, you know, I mean, I hate to see things in the hallways at a public educational institution that are apparently not correct. How can you claim that it's a trademark product when it's a theoretical product according to the Del Mar College. All right, I'm going to get off on a better note with Del Mar here. I have known a man over there who is the superintendent of physical facilities. Okay, he's actually been interim, Mr. Charles Millers, and he talks Tuesday about progress on the Southside campus on the corner of Yorktown Boulevard and Rodfield. This is when they had tall grass out there, and Mr. Miller, who's one of the finest people I've met in my lifetime, went out and decided to, well, we need to go ahead and get this thing cut. We've got Jack Gordy, the vice president of the Taxpayers Association, being filmed by the president of the Taxpayers Association with this tall grass. And the grass, that was me, the grass was taller than Mr. Gordy. He disappeared within about 10 yards into that grass pit out there. So they finally cut trees, spruced it up, and it is swampland out there, folks. Okay? Now, Del Mar leader will postpone retirement. He was supposed to retire just before or during the hurricane, and he's delayed that, bless his heart, so that he could go ahead and make things secure for the Del Mar students and faculty members and employees over there, and the safety of the public in general. So thank you, Charles. You're going to be missed by me and many other people over there. And I wish they'd have gone ahead and just hired you as a full-timer. But, you know, what they do is they put stipulations on things like you've got to have a degree in architecture or an engineering degree or some such crap over there. Okay, the man knows more about that campus than anybody else over there, up to and including all the complete administration, which is bloated to big time, folks. And here's the administration as of June 17th, 2016. I need to update this one. We've had some changes, and we've got more administrators on this thing than you can shake a stick at. Essentially what we had when I started in 1989 was we had a president, 2 vice presidents, several deans, and then, you know, we didn't have directors and assistant directors and risk management and, you know, all the rest of this garbage that's on here. And this is called administrative bloat, okay? And that's costing us a lot of money, okay? Now, I'm going to get into some of the things that I've done. Okay, now just to reiterate, we had the September 2nd meeting of the Corpus Christi Taxpayers Association Board of Members at 2 o'clock at the Small Planet Deli on Saratoga and that's Staples. Okay, it's in that little strip mall behind fried chicken and you know, fast food joints right there on Saratoga. But anyway, we talked about things like that, and you know, I've got if you want information about that, then you can email me at gsansing@gmail.com, and I'll give that to you later. And that's on all the banners if you want to see the shows, this one, which is South Texas News and Reviews, and we've got the voice of Ed Bennett, and then we do have the what's going on in Corpus Christi, which is Taxpayers Association meeting, 30-minute show. You can go into YouTube and put in Gerald, Gerald, Sansing, Sansing, and it'll bring up those shows. You can watch them on YouTube, or you can take a look at them at the times that I specified on channel 10, local public access on what is it now, Spectrum, Grande, and I think AT&T. All right, so we can do that. But we did have that. We did have that meeting on the 2nd, and some people, I presented this to them, and they were red hot mad about it, folks. They want to know if we're having taxpayer money support things that are not, I just going to say fraudulent. That product is not even developed, as far as I can tell, from what the one of the administrators over there told me in writing. And now I've got 93 pages to go wade through tomorrow when the college opens back up. So it's a mess over there, folks. Okay? So we're watching Del Mar College real closely, and that administrative bloat is just, it's incredible over there. Okay? Now, another thing that bothers me is the budget over there for this year. And I want to say for the record that there was a meeting a while back to jump all over, and well, they're going to present the budget to the Board of Regents first, okay? And then at the end of the meeting, everybody on the board, except one person, went after Mr. Guy Watts. We're going to censure him because we don't like what he's doing when he exercises his freedom of speech in this country. You see, Del Mar College assumes that if you work for Del Mar College or you're elected to that board, that you relinquish all of your rights under the Constitution and the amendments of the United States Constitution, period. Okay? I'm not supposed to talk to my elected board member. I'm supposed to go through the president so he can screen everything. Okay? All right, well, you know, you can cut my tongue out of my dead body before I shut up. Okay? Now, so the board members, I know one of them is a bona fide CPA. One of them claimed he was and was not at the time. Okay? Which I think he ought to be censured for that. That's going past your constitutional rights to free speech when you claim things that are not verifiable and they're not true. Okay. But on August the 8th, I attended that meeting, and it was a very confusing budget presented and with no specifics. Now, one of the board members, who is a certified public accountant for 40 years plus, he asked for a copy of the line item budget, which is the only thing you can base your knowledge of and whether you're going to vote for it or not. Okay? He didn't get it. Now, at that same meeting, I stood up and I asked them under public comment, I said, would you please provide that information, the line item budget that you're concocting here, for the general public to look at? I'm real interested in where my tax money is going to go. Oh yeah, we'll do that. Neither one of us has seen a copy of it yet. So you go figure it out. Now, this last meeting, which I did not attend, I was able to see it at the House on public television. Okay, and what had happened at that case was they had 3 PowerPoints that were submitted. I don't know who's outside, folks. It sounds like a brawl going on out there. You'll just have to pardon that if you can hear it. But anyway, I'll speak a little bit louder. So what we're doing is there were 3 PowerPoints presented, and one of them was $1.5 million off. Okay? And then 25%, or I mean $25 million just went under general funds. No specifics whatsoever. Now, I don't know how you cover that up and how you get away with that, but, you know, I certainly would like to have you people call the Board of Regents members and ask them how they can vote on a budget for $97 million where your taxes are going up 7.95%, just under the rollback 8%. And how can they be that confused and so forth and so on and not give anybody any specifics to read, and then find out that the non-specifics, the watered down version, was I think it was $1.5 million off. Oh, it was just a addition problem. Okay. So why are we paying people with doctorates and CPAs to go over there and put that garbage on the wall? Okay. I mean, I don't understand it, folks. You got me? Okay. I'm going to travel on, and then I've got a real hang up with the way that the budget in the past have gone. I've been yelling and screaming over the past. I do have statistical supplement 19, continued changes in net position, fiscal years 2005 to 2014, and we have gone from $51 million budget in 2005 to in 2014 $81 million, and now it's $97 million from 2014 to 2017. Okay. Now, also, it was mentioned that he would like to see, that those line item budgets were no longer done. So the regent himself informed them that yes, he had one from the previous year that he had printed out that was already online. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Anyway, we've gone from a position in 2008 of being 1.261 million in the hole, and then it started to climb with the change in personnel over there, and then we started getting a net profit. The next year, 2009, 5.2 million. Next year, 2010, was 6.1 million. Then the next year, it was 7.6 million essentially, and then in 2012, it was 12 million. 12.851 million, and then we dropped a little bit in 2013 down to 11.2 million. In 2014 is 10.427 million. Okay? Now, those are net profits, folks. Now, where did that money go? It didn't go to raises, because I've been raising hell, no pun intended, since about 2008 and so forth. And when they say, well, we can't give faculty and staff any raises because we're broke, we don't have any money. We only had a net profit in 2012 of $12.8 million. Now, what you're supposed to do as a taxing entity like that, according to the rules and regulations, is you should break even. Now, I do know they have to put a certain amount of money into a contingency fund in case there's a disaster. But where did all that money go? All right. And then the people that ran for office in Del Mar College, there was a group for Del Mar College. It wasn't the college itself. It was a political group that came out with that brochure, pardon me. It's called Del Mar Works. You probably got 2 or 3 of them in the mail. And the people that contributed heavily to that are the ones that are making all the bucks out of these bond issues that for the Southside campus, okay, and the one previous to that in 2014 to build more space on East and West campus. Okay. Now, I was going through some files that I inherited with the Taxpayers Association, and it says The Cherry Picking of Del Mar, okay, by Glenn A. Pugh, and he was a Corpus Christi attorney. And this was about the Del Mar, one of the Del Mar regents, and 4 opportunistic individuals were going to give Del Mar a real break on the utility bills, the electrical bills over there. Okay, and it says Del Mar College is one of the most profitable customers of the Central Power and Light, at that time CP&L. With the use of latent storage, Del Mar College will be entitled to and will be getting greatly reduced electric rates. That's what they said. But Del Mar should do some shopping before it commits to a long-term fixed impact, and it goes on. Del Mar College deserves even lower rates than those offered in the 10-year proposal made by Del Mar Regent Whittle. That was Bill Whittle. He's an attorney that was on the board at the time. And this was dated, The Cherry Picking of Del Mar by Glenn A. Pugh, on January the 6th, 1998, and it was a contribution to the Caller Times. And the beat goes on. Okay? Now, another thing that I need to harp on is the city of Corpus Christi. I just happened to have pulled up the file to file an Americans with Disabilities Act complaint by mail, U.S. Department of Justice, Pennsylvania Ave, Civil Rights Division, Disability Rights Section, Washington, D.C. Okay? Now, I'm sick and tired of this city attorney and the city council members ignoring the plight of the local disabled individuals. Okay? There are certain things under the Americans with Disabilities Act, okay, that need to be straightened out, like light poles and so forth right in the middle of sidewalks where people can't get around, and they're told, well, just go up into that parking lot and get yourself run over, or you can always opt to go step in one of the streets like Ayers or Airline or one of these, you know, I mean, there's only 1 or 2 cars down there a day. It's real safe to have to take your wheelchair and go out one of the exits or entrances and run down the street a couple, 50, 60 yards to the next one to get around those poles that are encumbering that. And then, we've got that person who is our city attorney who is about as worthless as a bump on a pickle as far as I'm concerned. And the man does not, as far as I'm concerned, tell the truth. If you want to blow that up, Mr. Risley or Risley, then you go right ahead. But I have sanction from the Taxpayers Association 2 days ago. Somebody made the motion for me to write the ADA through Department of Justice and complain one more time about several spots in town where they are non-ADA compliant. Okay? Now the last time, unfortunately, the Department of Justice said that they were too busy to worry about this, that we're over there on Airline several months ago. Okay? But I think since these shows go on YouTube and they go national, then maybe I can get somebody's attention up there and they'll do the right thing. Either that or quit being paid monthly with my tax money to sit there and do nothing and say, well, I'm just too busy to take care of the disabled. Now, what kind of garbage is that, I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Despicable, okay? Now, then I've had some problems also in the past with Del Mar College not providing me with what I need to get by. Now, another thing that Del Mar College does is when I go to get some information about a student that's complained about me in writing and slandered and libeled me, then they say I can't get that information because of what they say is the FERPA laws. That's the one that protects student records. Now, if a student threatens me, which I had done, and I want a copy of the written threats, I got those offline, by the way, through Facebook on two different sites. And the student, I would not readmit him into class after he pulled that stunt, threatening me with all of his dysfunctional veteran brothers and sisters. That's a despicable statement in itself. And then they went through this massive witch hunt against me. That was Dr. Rito Silva, who's the vice president of something nonsense over there at Del Mar College. He takes care of students. And I can do a whole show on this soon. But anyway, I was asked with a problem before that by the Freedom of Information Foundation of Texas, who is in Austin, Texas. They've got the address to donate some money. And then they would go ahead and have their committee take a look at that and straighten Del Mar College out on my Public Information Act that they screwed up and would refuse my information. Then I find out that the $400 plus an hour attorney with Graves Daughtry, etc., out of Austin, Texas, that man, Mr. Christian, was on that hearing committee, and they froze up and wouldn't hear my case. I think that's kind of inside collusion. And what they think, because I do know enough about fungi and growing mushrooms and so forth and so on as a microbiologist, because I studied toxic molds and bacteria for many years. But so I wrote, after they asked me back in July for more money, July of this year, for money out of the blue, and I told them that I wasn't going to donate money to him. I wrote him a real nasty letter, sent it to this woman up there. Her name was Kelly Shannon, Executive Director of the Freedom of Information Foundation of Texas, a nonprofit based in Austin, okay, and dedicated to promoting open government and First Amendment rights of free speech and press. Well, that's the line of bovine excrement, about 800 miles long, 30 feet deep, and 500 feet wide, folks. Now, so I wrote them a certified return receipt letter, and after months of waiting, about a week or so ago, they tried to deliver this up there. Somebody actually put the correct address on the front of it, on a label, okay, which was from them to begin with. And I emailed the same information, and after several weeks, this Kelly Shannon, Executive Director, emailed me back and said that somebody had hacked her email and she was sorry about not getting back with me. And then when I spent $6.80 for certified return receipt, the card is gone off the back, okay? So somebody probably went over there and refused it, okay? And I get it back months later. So if you think that you're going to get any help from that organization, you're nuts. Now, 2 days ago in the Caller Times, here's a forum article, Transparency, Access to Information in Government Leads to Real News. Okay? And it says Forum by Kelly Shannon as Executive Director. And here she is screaming and hollering that in-depth reporting can happen in Texas in large part because of long-standing laws protecting the people's right to know. Same email address. So if you are contacted by the Freedom of Information Foundation of Texas, then throw it in the trash can, and because you'll not get anything done except a bunch of lip service out of those people. And they're mostly attorneys. Okay? And they're going to take care of their attorney buddies, especially the in-house counsel now, or whatever they call him at Del Mar College. They're all in it together, folks. And he's best buddy with Mr. Christian, who was on that board that decided they didn't want to listen to me after I contributed money to him. That's what you get, isn't it? Okay. All right. Then here's another one. Now, I have asked for very derogatory, I suppose, and probably inflammatory and threatening grievances against me by that one veteran. And then another student pitched a fit and would not sign the letter. My department chair gave me a copy of it and said the student wanted to remain unidentifiable, raising Cain that it was my fault that they couldn't follow instructions when the rest of the class did, in all of my classes. Okay. So I asked for that student's name since that was not a grade associated with it, with FERPA law, and they said, no, you can't have that. So for months and months I have been squawking through my city faculty council and the representatives there to have someone come in and explain from the Department of Education the FERPA laws. Okay? So we finally had that happen at the convocation not too long ago, at the beginning of this semester, and that was on August the 21st. Okay? And a gentleman who is an attorney, okay, recently retired from the Ohio State University, where he served nearly 20 years as the university registrar. He is a, like I say, let's see, Brad Myers, J.D., retired university registrar, the Ohio State University, former president of the American Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Offices. They're the ones that keep track and not let this information about what grade they made out in public. Okay? So he gave some stuff, and it was a real eye-opener for me. So I'm currently involved, and I'm going to write the Department of Education, and I'm going to raise unmitigated hell with them about the attorneys here at Del Mar College claiming everything that they want to cover up over there is protected under FERPA laws, when according to this guy, it's not. And I'll be totally honest with you, ladies and gentlemen at Del Mar College, he advised me to raise hell about it. Okay? After he knew the circumstances. He said, you're being screwed. I said, yes, I know that. Okay? That's your expert. Okay. You know, all things are not good. Okay, so that was my complaint over here. Student's name, slander, libel. And it was, you know, seeking, they sought an attorney general's opinion on that. And then finally I did get some information about that back from him. Okay, but it was useless. It was absolutely useless. I think it was 9 pages of garbage. So the beat goes on with public information at Del Mar and the city. The city's not too bad. And then I'm completely disgusted with Del Mar College Board of Regents turning on and trying to malign the good name and character of Mr. Guy Watts. Excuse me, Dr. Watts. He has earned a PhD in political science as well as his doctorate of jurisprudence, which allows him to use the handle doctor, although he does not do that, and I don't either. Okay, I'm not part of the privileged elite. I had that stomped out of me in graduate school and in in private research. It's first name basis, folks. You don't need to get a swell head over it. But some people just think that that's so great, and then they claim to be award-winning this and that when they win awards at Del Mar College that nobody on campus knows about. I doubt if many people in the public know about it. But that's a badge of honor, I guess. Okay. Now, what bothers me at that meeting where they tore into Mr. Watts, that was a budget meeting, and it was quite clear that your taxes as a taxpayer in the Del Mar College District were going to go up as a result of the issuing of bonds for close to $300 million. 2014 and 2016. Okay. Now, when you start paying the freight on that, we're looking at $13 million a year just for interest charges and so forth on the debt that we now owe. And then we're going to double that amount because we got 2 more bond issues to go for Southside Campus at Yorktown and Rodfield Road, that swampland out there, that 96 acres they bought without taxpayers' permission. Okay. And then it was a squeaker when you find folks out there. If you voted for that, folks, I want to thank you profusely, okay, for making my taxes go up and buying 96 acres of swampland that we don't need. And then I'll get into the numbers on that later. You know, they say we're going to have 35,000 students at Del Mar College ultimately, and if you look at our population of 350,000 people, that's 10% of the population of Del Mar College is going to be out there in classes at any given time. And the 13 million is going to be 25 or 26 million dollars a year. So your taxes are going to go up this year, and they're going to go up next year, and I've got documentation on those circulars they sent for that bond package out there for that boondoggle Southside Campus that nobody's taxes are going to go up. And I preached to everybody. I did all I could to get you people to understand that. And then we have another meeting in 2 days, Wednesday, 5:30, September the 6th, to finalize this budget. But during all of that budget meeting, and then at the end is when they got on Guy Watts again, the Caller-Times reporter, there was not a single mention in the Caller-Times the next day, but they had this big expose about how bad and how much the board wants to censure Mr. Watts. So what the hell kind of reporter is that won't report a whole meeting on the budget and tell you your taxes are going up, folks? Now, I'm just going to speculate. I'm not pointing fingers. This is not a fact. But when you look at a $1.3 million advertising budget for Del Mar College in the different culture, different media around here, then a lot of that goes to the Caller-Times. So I guess the Caller-Times doesn't want to upset anybody at Del Mar College and lose some of that ad money. That's the only thing I can think of. And then the Foghorn today, that's the student paper, came out with an article about Mr. Watts and said how despicable he was and how much that Mr. Trey McCampbell does not like him, and because he tells him he has freedom of speech and he's just saying it like the way he wants to say it. He's privileged to do that. My ancestors since the early 1700s fought for my right to free speech, and Mr. Watts is too. So I'm going to go ahead and wind this down, turn the camera off. Appreciate you watching. And if you got any questions, you can always go ahead and get a hold of me at gsansing@gmail.com. Email me. I'm easy to find. And I'm just going to come around here right quick and I'll check that timer out. Should have picked it up. And, let me know. Tell me the way you feel about these things, folks. And again, those are beautiful roses, and they do have a very distinct rose essence to them. And thank you, Mom. Thank you, Lynn. And thank you, April 23. So I'm going to go ahead and just a few seconds, and I'm going to turn this camera off and just let it run out, and it'll cut off when my time's up. I think I'm a few minutes off. And then I'll discuss that rail that's buried in that bush over there and those dead plants in that $250,000 greenhouse. I'll remind myself to discuss that with you later. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let this thing run out, and I'll be with you next week.